Okay, so we have come a long way even in our discourse on effective succession. And in our last discourse, we're looking at boldness. Now, before we got there, we're looking at the personal virtues, personal traits that the successor would have come in as a way of identifying who your successor is. We said that one of the ways is aside the vision and you knowing the person personally, you can also know the personal traits that the person stands by, right? And we came from a place of discussing one to be taking initiative. We came to the place of exhibiting that boldness, not boldness in any other thing, but even in the matter of what it is that you have been committed, right? And today I want us to look at one important trait that many people overlook. That is the trait of humility. Now, when you are going to hand over a thing to someone or you are going to make someone a successor, one of the things you should look at, even as a way of virtue, is that that person should be humble enough. Now, with humility, you would be able to be in the position of being teachable. Anyone that is humble is someone that can be taught. And anyone that can be taught is that person who can lead. If you have not learned the construct of being taught, in essence, the construct of being a servant, thereby sitting under the feet of another, you can never rise to the place of having people sit under you. So I made a statement, very profound statement, that if you have not understood the construct of following, even servanthood, it will be very difficult for you to come into the heights, even in leadership. It's very, very important. Many a times, one of the ways you would identify Joseph was, address is that he is a servant of Moses. Many people will want to lead, but they want to lead, but they have not learned the construct of being even a servant, not unto God. Because you see, many of us can say we are servants of God. Many of us can stand in that place where, okay, we serve God, we honor God, but the proof that you actually honor God is in how you honor the men He has given you, the people that He has brought you to sitting under their feet, the reverence you give to them. Some people have sitting under them people that are PhD holders. Meanwhile, they themselves they've not even ascended even heights in academics or academia. But the reason why that person is still sitting there is because of this trait I'm talking about. It takes humility to have all that it takes, even beyond the person that you are serving, and still choose to be there. It takes humility. And God is looking at people that are humble. The Bible says that He resists the proud and He exalts the humble. Them that are meek, He exalts them. So, dear leader, if you are looking at someone to succeed you, one of the things you should give attention to is how humble the person is. And there are diverse ways to know how humble a person is. Sometimes how teachable he is, you will know. How teachable. And they will appreciate, oh my God, this thing is very important because many people don't discern. They look at the fact that the person is having gifts, the person is doing that. And sad enough, some even they deceive their leaders. They forcefully humble themselves. So it takes discernment to identify the humble man. It's not enough to say, I am humble. It is seen in your actions, which even beyond that, or which are even inspired or influenced by the heart posture you maintain to that man. It's very, very important. How you keep yourself as a servant or as a follower, a disciple under your discipler. That is one of the ways that we identify that person who stands the chance of succeeding a leader. It's too important to know. One other thing I wrote here is that if you don't know servanthood, you can't lead. And I've said this thing many and many times again. I wrote again that it is the heart that makes, you see, it is the heart with which you are staying under that person that makes you useful or useless. This is important to note because many people say that if I stand as a servant, because we say that Joshua, the servant of Moses. So if Joshua, the servant of Moses, it means that I'm supposed to take on the position of a servant. And if I become a servant, then the man will use me. You see, in Christendom, men are spent. That is one thing you must appreciate. We are spent, but then you see, it is the result, the outcome of your being spent that we will tell that you have been spent well or you have not been spent well. And I'm telling you, as to how you will come to that conclusion, it is premised on your heart. Humility is a thing of the heart. So at the end of you serving a man, what you will then stand on to tell that this person has been useful or this person has been useless is the state of the heart of that person while he's following that man. So the state, the heart matters in these things that we are talking about. In humility, it's not just something you say with your mouth. And one other aspect of this is that many people come under the umbrella of false humility. And false humility can be discussed in diverse forms, right? One of the ways I can describe or I can talk about false humility is those people that substitute humility for fear. Some people are afraid because I told you one of the things that the successor is looking out for is your being bold. Being bold doesn't mean you are not humble. It is one thing that you must appreciate. Being bold and standing the course of what has to be stood for. Even regarding the vision, regarding the man that has been given you, regarding the house you are planted in, one of the things you must appreciate is that being bold, it does not mean that you are supposed to be arrogant. You will see that there's a thin line. Someone can be bold and then people will refer to us as that as being arrogant. Someone can also live in fear and people will say this one is humble. What? No. It is not that, it is far beyond that. So you see, you will see it from the content which is influenced by the heart with which you are doing whatever you are doing. So your heart state in honoring a man, the state of your heart in submitting to a man, even being the servant of that man, is actually going to be judged at the end of the discourse when we know that you are being useful or you are being useless. It's very, very important to know. So as a leader, as one who is looking for someone to succeed me, one of the things I look around, even with regards to the 12 people that are around me, is that that person should not just take initiative, it should also be bold even in his dealings. And also, in addition to that, he must maintain perpetually the heart of humility. That is how I will identify you to be a successor of me as a leader. I believe this has been a great blessing. We will come and continue this matter. But remember, we have looked at the matter of taking initiative. We have looked at the matter of being bold. We have considered even the matter of being humble. It is a blessing. I hope you have been shaped. Shalom.